So topic 4, learning outcome 5. Topic 4, which is accounting for overheads and learning outcome 5. Right. So learning outcome 5 is allocating service department cost to production department. Right. So let me write down again. If you still do not know what is the ideas behind this learning outcome 5, the ideas behind is that as I explained in the previous session, that when we calculating the overheads, of course it's a manufacturing cost, right? It's an indirect manufacturing cost. Keep in your mind that not only production or manufacturing department involved in producing product, service department also involved in producing product, right? Of course, like as I give example of some kinds of service department which may involve in production activities, like as human resource department, because they are providing workforce, could be account department who is involved in keeping records of the transaction occur, or all the transaction happen in manufacturing department. And third one is maybe IT department, which is also support manufacturing departments to produce the product and services. So all this kind of service department, whoever involves in production activity, so all the cost belongs to this service department is called the overheads. All right. So idea for learning outcome 5 is allocating service department cost to production department, right? Allocating service department cost to the production department, right? So as I explained you in the previous sessions that we have 3 different methods, right? So with the help of these 3 different methods, we allocate service department cost to the production department. But keep in your mind, these 3 methods that I'm going to explain you now, these 3 methods we apply when we have a different kinds of situation. All right. So it's not an option that you apply method first or method second or method third. No. So to apply method 1, we have a special condition or requirements. Same thing with method 2 and 3. All right. So let's start with the first method. So first method is a direct distribution method. All right. Direct distribution method, right? Okay. Now, what is direct distribution method? So I'll give you examples as well for direct distribution method. Right? So let's say you have service department, all right? And here is you have production department. So you have 2 service departments. So let me write down S1 and S2. Right? These 2 service departments involved in production activity. So we have 2 production departments, P1 and P2. So the requirements to apply or conditions to apply direct distribution method is when service department is providing service to the production department. All right. Service department is not providing service to another service department. All right. So when service department provides service to production department, let's say service department 1 is providing services to production department 1 and production department 2. All right. Same thing, service department 2 providing services to production department 1 and production department 2. All right. There is no any service transformation between service department 1 and service department 2. So which means there is no situation or condition in which service department is providing services to the another service department. So keep in your mind, if service department is providing service to the production department and service department also providing service to another service department, then we will not apply direct distribution method. So minimum requirements to apply direct distribution method is when service department only provides service to the production department. Service department do not provide service to another service department, like as I mentioned. All right. If this situation happen, that means we apply direct distribution method, right? Okay. So we go to slide number 19. All right. So slide number 19, we have a calculations, and then we do that how we apply this method to calculate. All right. So I'll show you slide number 19. So let me write it down here. So for direct distribution method, we have slide number 19. All right. So let me open your slide number 19. Can you see lecture slides? Can you see that? Say something, yes or no? Okay. All right. So slide number 19. We go to 19 here. Here. So slide number 19 is just example, like as I mentioned you before, when service department, support department means service department, which providing service to production department, like as here support department providing to manufacturing department and packaging. Manufacturing and packaging department are production department, and IT, information system or technology, and accounting, these two departments are service departments. So you can see that information system, which is service department, provides service to production department. That department do not provide service to accounting department. Same thing with accounting department, which is providing services to production department, which is manufacturing and packaging. All right. And accounting department do not provide service to another service department, which is information system. So this is the minimum conditions to apply direct distribution method. All right. So here is the questions that we have. All right. So I read these questions and then we will see that how we allocate service department costs to the operating department. All right. So you can see this is support department. Support department means service department. And this is operating department, which means production department. Service department, production department. In service department, we have two departments, plant maintenance and information system. And in production department, we have machining department and assembly departments. All right. And this is the cost of plant maintenance, which is 6.3 million. Cost of information system, which is 1.4 something million. In production department, the cost is 4 million, and in assembly 2 million. So what we're gonna do in this method, we will allocate this cost to this and this. Same thing here. We allocate this cost to here and here. So which means the cost here will be 0, and this cost will increase because they are providing cost to these two departments. So I repeat, we will allocate service department cost to manufacturing department. We allocate this service department cost to production department. All right, that's normally what we do in our direct distribution method. All right, okay, but now the question is how we allocate this 6.3 million here and here, and how we allocate this 1.452 something here and here. Of course, we will not allocate 50-50. All right, no, of course not, because as I explained you in the previous session, on the behalf of base or bases, we allocate service department cost to production department. And what is the base? Base information is here. By using this information, we allocate this number here and here, and this number here and here. All right, okay. Now, so we have some informations. It says that by plant maintenance, so which means this, budgeted labor hours 4,000, budgeted labor hours 6,000, budgeted labor hours 10,000. All right, okay. Now what does it mean? It means the allocation of budgeted labor hours will be this and this, which means 30%, 50%. Of course, 20% allocation will be here, but this is the direct distribution method, so that's why we will not allocate anything to information system. All right, so we allocate only plant department service to this and this. We will not allocate to here because this is a direct distribution method. All right, so we do not allocate anything here from here to here. We only allocate here to here, here to here, here, this and this. All right, okay. For information system providing 80% services, which is 4,000 hours, which is the base, to machining department, and 10% services to the assembly department. So we allocate on the basis of these 2%. All right, so this is the information. So this is the information about base that we apply to allocate this number here and here. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so plant maintenance, which is 6.3 here, 6.3 million, and information 1452, which is here. All right, so we allocate this number here and here. which is this. How we got this number? Of course, next slide explain you that how you got this number and this number, right? 1452150, we allocate this number here and here, right? Which is assembly department, right? So we do not allocate anything here or anything from here to here, just here, here, from here to here, all right? Now, the question is how we got this and this number and this and this number. These two number, of course, on the behalf of the base, that what we have is given, allocation base, which is this, all right, 6,000, 10,000. So if total 20,000 machine hour, so 6,000 allocate here, 10,000 allocates here. If 5,000 total hours, in this 4,000 allocates here, 500 allocates here, right? So now we look at the question, all right? I mean, the solution, okay. So 6.3 million, we allocate here and here. How we got this number? This number, which is on the behalf of the base, we got this number. So what is the base? So base is here, 6,000 plus 10,000, all right? 6,000 plus 10,000. 6,000 plus, 6 plus 10 is the total, which is 16. So 6 divided by 16, 10 divided by 16, all right? 6 and 10. 6,000, 10,000. So total 16, all right? Total is 16. So 6 divided by 16, allocate here, all right? And 10 divided by 16 allocates here, all right? So let me write down here. So it's already mentioned here, all right? So I think I do not have to write down here, all right? So I will write for you allocation of plant maintenance, all right? Plant maintenance, PM, plant maintenance. Allocation of plant maintenance is based upon hours, which are 6,000 and 10,000. What does it mean? It means service department providing 10-hour service to machine department and 10,000 hours to assembly. So what does it mean? It means plant maintenance, all right? So what does it mean? It means plant maintenance is providing total 16,000 hours to production department, which is machine and assembly, all right? Keep in your mind, I repeat, as per the question, which is here, as per question, this plant maintenance, you can see that plant maintenance, all right? Plant maintenance providing 6,000 hours to machining department and 10,000 hours to assembly department, all right? So what does it mean? In simple words, plant maintenance providing total 16,000 hours to operating department. right? In this 16,000, of course, 6 here, 10 here. So we can calculate the ratios or percentage that help us to allocate this number here and here, right? So for machining, all right? For machining, it's a 6 divided by 10, all right? 6 divided by, 16, all right? And assembly, it's 10 divided by 16, all right? So 6 divided by 16 means 3/8, all right? And 10 divided by 16 means 5/8, all right? So we can write 6.3 million, all right? 6.3 million multiplied by 6 divided by 16 or 3 divided by 8. Same thing. I repeat, 6 divided by 16 or 3 divided by 8. Same thing here, 10 divided by 16 or 5 divided by 8. So 6.3 million multiplied by 3 divided by 8. If you calculate it, it will be 2, 3, 6, 2, 500, all right? So this is the allocation of this number here. That's the way to get this number here, all right? Okay. And again, 6.3 million multiplied by, now allocate to this department, which is 5 divided by 8. So it will be 3,937,500. All right. So this is the allocation of this number. So this number, which is allocation, so I can write down here. Allocation to machining, which is, allocation of plant maintenance to operating department. All right. So allocation of plant maintenance to operating department will be this 2362, which number, this number come from here, and this number which come from here. All right. Same thing happen to the information system. All right. Allocation of information system to operating department. All right. So which is this number? 1452150. All right. So allocation of this number. What is the base to allocate this number? Right? So we look at here. So the base is 4,500, which means information system providing 4,000 hours to machining department as a service and 500 hours to assembly department as a service. So which means for production department or operating department, The total services provided by information system is 4,500, which is the base. So 4,000 divided by 4,500 and 500 divided by 4,500. If you divide this number, you're gonna get this base. You can see that 4,000 divided by 4,500 and 500 divided by 4,500. So base will be 8 divided by 9 and 1 divided by 9. All right. So this one multiply by 8 divided by 9. All right. And this number multiply by 1 divided by 9, right? If you multiply this number by this, you're gonna get this number, which is 1290800. 1290800. All right. Same thing here. If you divide this number by this, you have 161350. All right. So this is the allocation, right? So this number comes through this, and this number comes through this. So this is the allocation. So of course, here is gonna be 0. Why? Because you allocated this number here and here. So here it will be 0, right? Here it will be, because this service is already provided. So here, no more cost. And machine department cost increase. Why? Because machining department taking service from the plant department. So which means machine department cost will increase. Of course, product overhead cost will increase. So total cost of machining department is now this plus these two number, which comes from here and here, right? This plus these two number, which comes from here and here, right? And we got this. Of course, there is no change in the total cost. Total cost will be the same, right? So as a result, this is the allocation cost using direct distribution method. All right, this is direct distribution method. Did you understand it? Say something, yes or no? Yes, okay. So can we move on to the next method, or you have a question? Anybody has any question? Say something if you have any questions. Any questions, or move on? Any question, or move on to second method, which is step down method? Move on. Okay. All right. So student, one more thing. Again, if you have any question, when you send me a question, please send to everyone as well. All right. So do not just send me a private message. You send message to everyone so other students can also understand what is your question and what I'm talking about. All right. So please send questions to everyone. I mean, your answers or whatever you are saying, just select everyone. All right. Okay. So now we move on to the second method, which is step down method. All right. And then we will see the calculation of step down method. Same questions. All right. But of course, base will be the different, because the condition and requirements to apply step down method is different than the direct distribution method. All right. Okay. Okay. Step down method. So I'm going to give you the example, same, right? But of course, again, the conditions to apply step down method is different. So you have service department, right? Service department 1, service department 2, you have production department 1, and production department 2. All right? And of course, service department is providing services to production department, right? Okay. But another important requirements for service department, step down method is one service department is providing services to another service department. Let's say S1 providing services to S2, but S2 do not provide service to S1. All right, so which means S1 providing service to production departments, which is P1, P2, and S1 also providing services to the service department. But S1 is not taking any service from another service department, right? So what is the example for this, all right? The example for this is, let's say S1 is a human resource department, all right, which is service department. And S2 is a marketing or advertising department. So what does it mean? Human resource department is providing workforce, which means services, to production department, and human resource department also providing workforce or services to the marketing department. But marketing department technically do not provide any kinds of services to human resource department. So which means there is no any transfer of service from S2 to S1, all right? But remember, if S1 provides service to S2 and S2 providing services to S1, then step down method will not apply. And of course, direct distribution method will not apply too. Huh? So one student asked me questions that, sir, how can we know that which service cannot serve to another department? You don't have to find out the reasons that why this department is providing services to another service department or not. You don't need to worry about it, right? Because when we are allocating one service department, we ask service department that you are providing services to which department and what kind of service, all right? So you don't have to think that what are the services provided by IT department to human resource department. Maybe IT department provides some technical or some kinds of informations to the human resource department. Maybe, all right? So you don't have to worry about it, all right? You do not need to find that what kind of services provided by what this department to another department, all right? You don't have to worry, all right? This is more about, this is the responsibilities of the head of department to find out what services I am providing and what services I am taking, right? It's obviously, if you are working in that department, you can understand, all right? But if I give you any question, you don't have to worry. You just simply apply this method, and the condition for this method or the requirements is service to production, one service to another service, but the service department is not taking service from another service department, all right? So did you get the answer of your question? Did you understand that? Okay, so move on. Okay, all right. So this is the conditions, all right? Okay. Now, so we move on to our slide. Slide, I guess, is slide number 20. Let me check. No, not 20, sorry. It's 24, 25. So slide 24. Can you see the PPT slides? Can you see that? Okay. So that's the example of the step down department, step down method, which means information system department is providing service to manufacturing, to packaging, which is production department. And this information system is providing services to account department as well. But this department do not take any kinds of service back from information system. Student, keep in your mind, is just an example. All right, it's just an example. Don't think that account department do not provide any service to information system. Account department may provide some services to information system, all right? So this is just an example to understand this step down method. So you don't have to worry to find out that which department only provides service but do not take service. You don't have to worry to find out. You don't have to worry about this thing, all right? It's just an example. Okay, so we start. Okay, so now we move on to the examples to allocate service department cost to operating department using step down method, all right? So of course, the question is the same, all right? Sport department, you have two, this and this, right? Machining, this and this. Question is the same. Allocation base is the same, all right? But method is different. So what does it mean? Method is different, which means we allocate this cost here, here, cost, and here, all right? And this cost only here and here, not here, not here, all right? Because that is the step down method, all right? So see, plant department, plant maintenance department providing service to this, this, and this. So allocation of 6.3 million is this, this and this. All right. Okay. And allocation of information system cost will be here and here. But remember, your cost of information system is 1452150. So when you take service from another service department, your cost will increase. All right, increase by the number that you are getting through the taking services. All right, so you can see that this department providing service to this department. So what does it mean? The cost of this department will increase. So after increasing the cost, whatever total cost you have, that total cost you allocate here and here. All right, so keep in your mind. So do not simply allocate this number here and here. Of course not. So some number come from here. So here, this number will increase, and then total number will allocate here and here. All right, so that's exactly happened here. This number coming from this department, since this department is providing services to information system. So you can see that this number plus this, which is coming from here. So now total cost is 2.7 million something, right? So now you allocate this number 2.712150 here and here. All right. So this is the way to applying this step down method. All right. So now we look at the calculations. All right. So this time I'm not going to writing a base here. All right. The way is the same that I mentioned in the previous calculation. All right. Base is the same. The way is the same, which is, I guess, here. Yep. Which is here. Base is the same. So here, slide number 27. Okay, so we allocate this 6.3 here, here, and here. So how we got this, this, and this? Of course, we will calculate the base. So how we calculate the base? So you can see that we have 4,000. This department is providing 4,000 hours here, 6,000 hours here, and 10,000 hours here. So which means 10 plus 6 plus 4, 20. 20 divided by 4 here, 6 divided by 20 here, 10 divided by 20 here, right? So we use these ratios to allocate this number here, here, and here, right? Okay, so see, we did the same thing. 4 divided by 20, all right, which is 210, 6 divided by 20, which is 310, and 10 divided by 20, which is 510. So this number multiply by 210 here. This number multiply by 310 here. This number multiply by 510, which is this. All right, so this plus this, as I explained you before. So now the total cost of information system is 2.7120. So you allocate this number here and here. All right, what will be the base? Base will be exactly same like as direct distribution method. Why? Because of course you don't have to allocate this number here, because you are not providing services to here. You are only providing service here and here. So what is the base? Of course, 4,000 plus 500, which is 4,500. Because as you know, This department is providing 4,000 years and 500 hours here. So 4,000 divided by 4,500, allocation will be here. 500 divided by 4,000, allocation will be here. So 2712150 multiplied by 89. 89 of course comes here, as you can see that, all right? Make sure something wrong here. Okay. So this number will allocate. So this number multiplied by 8 nines, which come here. So this here. This number multiplied by 1 9, which is comes from 500 divided by 4,500, 1 9. So this multiplied by this 301350. So of course this number will be 0. This number will be 0. So complete allocation. All right. Nothing left. So now this cost will be here using step down method, and the cost of assembly department will be this, of course, and there is no any change in the total. It will be remain same. All right. So this is the way to allocating cost using step down method. All right. Does it make any sense? Is it okay? Did you understand that? Say something. Is it okay? So we move on to next, which is algebraic method. There's something we move on to next. Okay, so we finish algebraic method, and then we go for a short break, which is maximum 10 minutes. All right, so we can have 10 minutes break once we finish the third method. All right. Okay. So this one is 24 to 27. So slide number this to this, providing information about this, of course, including calculations, and slide 19 to 23 from for this method, which is direct distribution method, right? Now we move on to the next. Third method is an algebraic method. Algebraic method. Now, what is algebraic method? So, S1, S2, P1, P2. All right? So, service department is providing services to P1, P2, S1 to S2, and S2, P1, and P2. and S2 also providing services to S1. All right. So which means one service department is providing services to production department, that service department providing to another service department, and also taking services from another service department, and another service department doing exactly the same thing. All right, providing and taking. All right. If this is the situation, then this situation called algebraic method. Right. In this particular situation, we apply algebraic method. We do not apply direct distribution and step down method. If you apply direct distribution or step down method, your allocation will be wrong. So as a result, the total cost of one product will be wrong. So cost is wrong, profit estimation will be wrong. Profit estimation wrong, of course, budget is wrong. Budget is wrong, company will make a wrong decisions. As a result, company will fail. Company fail because of taking a wrong decision, right? Making a mistake to estimate the cost of products, all right? So as a result, company cannot estimate or record exactly the profit that company is making. So company record the wrong profit because of this wrong kind of numbers, right? So this is very important to apply precise method in that particular situation, right? So this is the ideas behind algebraic method, right? So I guess your slide number is 28. Slide number is 28. So now we move on to the calculation of algebraic method. Same question, same numbers, but allocation will be different, right? So let me give you some kinds of examples of allocation of algebraic method before we move on to the calculation. So it's much more easier for you to understand, right, how we calculate. Because algebraic method, one of the most complicated method among these three methods because of the allocations, right? So why it's complicated? So for example, service department 1, service department 2, production department 1, production department 2, right? So service department S1 is providing service to this, and this, right? So what does it mean? This department cost will increase, right? Like as we did in the step down method, right? Now this department allocate here, here, and here. As a result, this department now cost increase, right? So we got this number, right? Of course, when you allocate here, it will be 0, all right? It will be 0 because you allocate all. But because of this, now 0, it's no more 0 because it's increased your cost, right? And now this number will allocate here. So here becomes 0 because when you allocate this number here, here will be 0, right? So here, and here, right? So they here, because when you allocate this here, so here cost increase again, right? And then this number you allocate here, so here becomes 0 before, because when you allocate all number here, here, and here, it will be 0. But because of this, now cost increase, right? Here and here. So this number here, here, and here. All right. So this is the way of applying algebraic method. But again, this number is keep reducing. We are keep allocating numbers until we reach 0. Of course, it will be 0. All right, it will be 0. So let's say if it's $4 here, right? So you allocate $4 here, here, and here. So this $4 becomes 0. And for example, allocation here is $1. All right? $1 allocate here, here, and here. So this $1 maybe, I don't know, 30 cents, for example. And then you allocate this 30 cents here. So you can see that this number keep decreasing, and here also keep decreasing. We will be keep allocating until these numbers become 0. All right? So that's why this method is a really time-consuming method. All right? In practical situation, which is in the corporate worlds or in your exams. All right? So you have to spend much time to allocating all these numbers. Right? So now we move on to the your slides, right? And then we will see how we allocate these numbers. Right? So here, slide number 29. 28. It's 29. So we look at the situation. So situation for algebraic method is that one department to another department, all right? And that department also taking services. So all kind of services department is providing services to the other service department, each other's, all right? So question is the same, all right? Allocation base is the same, number is the same, but the way to allocate will be different, right? So allocation will be here, here, this, and this. Right? So it's going to be a little bit more complicated here. So it's look like this. All right, I hope you can see very, very clear. Okay, so let's start with the first allocation base. You know that, right? So allocation base will be same 210, 310, 510, 110, 810, 10, 110, and it will be same. So that's come through the questions. So this number we allocate here, here, and here using these 3 different bases. Right? So this cost increase and this cost, of course, 0. So this number we will allocate here, here, and here. All right. So this one will be 0. Now we got this number, right? We allocate here, here, and here. And here becomes 0. Right? Now this number here, here, and here. Right? So this is 0. All right. So this number here, here, and here. 0. This number here, here, and here. 0. All right. So this number here, here, and here. All right. So 0. And this number 22, 2, 18, and 2. All right. And this 2, okay. Now, of course, it cannot be 0 because when you use the base, which is 8, 10, when you use the base, it's not going to be 0. To writing 0 here is to make it simple, because the dollar value is too small. If you keep it $1, it doesn't make much difference. All right, amount is very small. It will not give significant impact over the decisions. All right, so keep in your mind, if you have a 1 digit left compared to the big value, because this is a 6.3 million and 1.4 million, compared to this number, this is not really material, which is not really big number. All right, so even though you allocate equally, your allocation will not be affected significantly. All right, so the idea is that when you're doing this type of question in your exams, if you have any single digit left, so just keep it half half. So to stop allocation, because if you use it half half, here zero, if here zero, no allocation here. All right, so question is finished. All right, so keep in your mind, if you have a single digit number left to allocate it, just single digits or very small number. All right, left, do not continue following this base. All right, just simply allocate 50%, 50% in this 2 department or 3 department, depends. All right, so just do that. All right, so that's the ideas to allocate it. So you can see that this number is keep decreasing. Before you allocate 6.3, then 271,000, and then 5,000, and then 100, and then $2. So it's keep reducing. So until it becomes zero, you will be keep allocating. All right, so this is called algebraic method. Right, so that will be the allocations of this. And again, this number will be same because you are allocating this number here, right? But your allocation will be different. Oh, sorry. Okay, so can you hear me now? Okay. So student asked me questions that how can we understand we allocate 50-50? All right. As I explained you, if allocation number turns into single digits number, single digits means 1 digit, like as 9, 10 is a 2 digits, 1 and 0, right? So when your allocation, the number that you're going to allocate it, if it's turned into a single digits number, just keep it simple, allocate half half. All right, but if it's 2 digits, still allocate using the base. All right, so let's say 9 left. All right, if you $9 left, you just 4.5, 4.5. Question finish. All right, but keep allocating until your allocating number reach to a single digits number. Did you understand? Yes or no? Say something quickly. It means that is it single digits? Yes, single digits. That's my ideas. Just keep it simple. But of course, in companies, we keep allocating until the allocation number is too small. That does not really affect even you allocate to machining department or assembly department, all right, in a company. But for my questions, for exams point of view, try to stop allocating, I mean, start allocating 50-50 once your number is turns into a single digit number, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So all these are single digits number, and then you keep it 50-50. Question finish. All right, okay. So algebraic method is finished. So any other question? Any questions about learning outcome 5? So learning outcome 5 is finished. So can we go for a 10 minutes break? Can we go for a 10 minutes break? Quickly say something, break, or you have a question? So we go for break. So I'll see you now in 10 minutes. So 10 minutes means 20 past 3, right? So I'll see you 20 past 3. Thank you. Okay, so now we move on to next learning outcome, which is learning outcome 6. And learning outcome 6. So learning outcome 6 is allocation of overhead, right? Allocation of overhead is different than allocation of service department cost to the production department. All right. Uh, Now, what is the difference between learning outcome 5 and learning outcome 6? Right? With the help of learning outcome 5, we find the allocation of service department cost to the production department. So, in other words, we can say that with the help of learning outcome 5, we calculate total overheads. All right. Total overhead means overhead or indirect cost from production department and a service department. Right. This is your learning outcome 5. Right. Like in production department, some cost belongs to production department, right, and some cost belongs to service department. So finally, how much will be the total overhead? So total overhead means total overheads means the cost of indirect cost or indirect non-manufacturing cost for particular product. So this is your learning outcome 5. Now what is learning outcome 6? In learning outcome 6, we will allocate total overhead cost to a single product, right? And to single product. That's mainly the difference between learning outcome 5 and learning outcomes. That is your learning outcomes. Right? That is your learning outcomes. Allocation of total overhead cost. Right? Allocation of total overhead cost. So for example, I am going to produce a product, like single product. What gonna be the overhead cost for this product? Allocation of overhead cost is way much difficult compared to direct cost, right? I repeat, overhead cost is an indirect cost, right? So this indirect cost is way much more difficult to allocate compared to direct cost. Direct cost be a direct material, direct labor. Allocation of direct material and direct labor easy to identify. You cannot see board. You can't see me or you can't see the board. I do the same thing. Do you have any problem to see the board? You can't see that or what? What problems? The board only. The board only, so I didn't really understand what you mean by board only. Is it blurred? Or is it too small? Or what? It's small. Now it's okay? So something now, is it okay for you? Oh yeah, maybe internet problem, yeah. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, I'm recording this video, so later on, if anything is not really clear because of network, when I will record it, I mean, when I upload it, then you can watch it again, right? Okay. But I hope, I think now it's okay. I can also see that screen is not really good. Okay, so this is the ideas for uh, learning outcome 6, right? So allocation of indirect cost. Indirect cost means total indirect cost means indirect manufacturing cost. Indirect, indirect cost, manufacturing cost. Allocation of indirect cost is way much more difficult than the allocation of direct cost, which is direct material and direct labor. Why? Because of the nature. Like, as for example, this is the pen. How much is direct material, direct labor, and overhead? How we can identify. Direct material, easy to identify. How? Quantity of material we use in this pen multiply by cost of material, whatever quantity that we use it, right? So let's say we apply maybe 500 grams raw material. And what is the cost of 500 grams? Easy to identify, right? Material cost, easy. Direct material, direct labor, right? Direct labor, how many hours worker work or how many products worker produce. So let's say worker work 1 hour in one day, or worker produce one product in one day, right? So no matter hourly rate plan, no matter piece rate plan. So let's say worker producing two products, this kind of markers, I mean, this kind of pen, multiply by, so 2 is the quantity of product that worker is producing, multiply by the wage that we are paying to the worker. So let's say we are paying $50 per product. So 50 multiplied by 2, $100 is the labor cost, direct labor cost. Easy to identify, right? But indirect cost is not easy to identify. For example, depreciation, right? We have a machine in a factory. right? Machine, we use it to produce the product, right? So how we allocate depreciation of that machine which is producing multiple products, all right, to this product, right? How we gonna allocate the depreciation of that machines to this product is not easy to identify, all right? Supervisors, rent, insurance premium, right? The material is wastage, wastage of raw material, all right? So the probably ordering cost, receiving cost, all right? Maintaining raw material cost. How are we gonna allocate all these kinds of cost? Of course, compared to direct cost, which is direct material, direct labor, or direct cost, indirect cost is not easy to identify, right? So that's why in order to allocate indirect cost to a single products, we have two methods. These two methods named are traditional costing, which is method one, and activity-based costing, right? Okay. Some company apply traditional costing and some company apply activity-based costing, we call ABC, right? Now, the question is which method we should apply. Again, it has a particular conditions to apply these two kinds of method, or the particular situation of the company, or maybe the resources of company that company can afford applying these two methods or not, all right? So I will teach you which these two methods we have, so how we can calculate these two methods, all right? And at the end of these two methods, you will understand that what is the particular situations to apply that method, or which method is better, maybe traditional or ABC, right? So this is the ideas for your learning outcome 6, right? So let's start with the learning outcome 6. So we start with the traditional costing method, which is the learning outcome 6. So in order to calculate using traditional costing method, so we have a steps. So we're gonna follow these steps in order to estimate or allocate the total indirect cost for overheads. So steps. So we have step 1. In step 1, we will find total overheads. Right? You will find total overheads. You know how to find out total overheads. Some overheads from production department and some overheads from service department. Right? But again, you don't have to apply service learning outcome 5 and then learning outcome 6. No, total overhead cost is given in your question. You just pick it up from your question. So this is your step 1, right? So we have some steps. So find total overheads, right? Step 2 is find machine hour or labor hours, whichever is higher, right? Find machine hour or labor hours, whichever is higher, right? So for example, in your question, you have some machine hours, right? Which is 500 hours to produce product, machine run, 500 hours. Right? And in your question, also labor hours are given, which is maybe 300, right? So means the workers will work 300 hours, so that will be the cost, right? So machine hour 500, and labor hours 300. So in this case, we choose machine hours to move on to step 3, right? So that's the ideas behind machine hour or labor hour, whichever is higher, right? Now, step 3. Step 3 is find a predetermined overheads rate, right? Predetermined overhead rate. So means rate we are identifying, right? So the way to calculate predetermined overhead rate is step 1 divided by step 2, right? Step 1, which is total overheads, divided by step 2, could be machine hour or labor hours, right? So once we got predetermined overhead rates, and then we will allocate overheads using these rates. So for example, my total overhead is, let's say, 1,000, right? And machine hour 500 and labor hours 300. So we choose machine hour, which is 500 hours, all right? So what is predetermined overhead rates? Predetermined overhead rates will be 1,000, which is step 1, divided by 500 hours, which is step 2. All right? So we got $2 per machine hours. All right? $2 per machine hours. This is predetermined overheads rate. All right? Now, step 4. Step 4 is apply POHR, which is predetermined overhead rates, to find overhead cost per product. All right? So, apply POHR. Apply POHR. So now, how to apply POHR? For example, we have 2 products, all right? Product A and product B, all right? As per information or as per question, if you will produce product A, you require 3 machine hours. So means machine run 3 hours, to produce product A, and machine run 5 hours to produce product B, right? So what will be the overhead cost for product A, and what will be overhead cost for product B, right? So for product A, let me write down here. For product A, machine run 3 hours. Machine run 3 hours. Multiply by $2 per machine hours. Right? Multiply by $2 per machine hours. So which means it will be $6 overhead cost for product A, and 5 multiplied by 2, which is $10 for product B. All right. So this is the way to apply overhead cost using traditional costing method. All right. So keep in your mind, if this is machine hours, then in your question you have to find out how many hours machine run to produce product A and B, and then using this 3 and 5, you're gonna get this allocation. All right. But if it's in your question, in your question, 500 hours are labor hours, for example. For example, machine hour 300, labor hour 500. So of course, whichever is higher, so we use labor hours, which is 500, for example, right? So when you are allocating, so which means $2 per labor hours, right? So in that case, it is in your question, these are machine hours. Do not use these machine hours. Why? Because these are machine hours and our predetermined overhead rate based on labor hours. So you have to find labor hours. So the idea is check your predetermined overhead rate is dollar per machine hour or dollar per labor hour. If it's dollar per labor hour, you have to find out to produce this product how many labor hours we require. That is given in the question, right? If predetermined overhead rate is based on machine hours, then in your question, you have to find out that how many machine hours required to produce product A, B, C, D, or whatever. All right. So you have to keep in mind this thing. All right. Don't be confused by multiplying machine hours with labor hours. Like if this is machine hour, for example, and you are taking this information, for example, this is labor hour, and then you are multiplying machine hour with labor hour. It's wrong because it doesn't make any sense. You cannot multiply per machine hour rate per machine hour with labor hours. All right, so machine hour rate with machine hours, labor hour rate with labor hours, right? But of course, you will use only one because whichever is higher, either machine hours with machine or labor hours with labor, right? So that's the ideas behind traditional costing, right? Did you understand? Did you get the ideas of tradition? Of course, we will do some practice. We have a one question. Did you understand the traditional costing method? Did you get the ideas for these 4 steps? Say something, yes or no? Say something. Did you understand traditional costing? No, sir. What do you mean by no, sir? Which point you did not understand? Yes, explain to me. Tell me which point you did not understand, so I will go back to that step. Did you get the ideas of ABC and traditional methods? Did you get the ideas of learning outcome 6? Yes. So yes means you understand, right? So we move on to ABC, activity-based costing, or anybody has any question regarding traditional costing? Make sure you understand traditional costing and activity-based costing because today I'm gonna give you a homework, all right? And next week I will see who has done this homework, all right? Can you repeat the example? Okay, I will repeat the example. So, for example, we have 2 products, all right? We have 2 products. So let me write down. Okay, so you have 4 steps. So I repeat all these steps by giving you some examples. So you have 4 steps. In step 1, you have to find out what is the total overhead cost. All right. Of course, total overhead cost, we have to find out some activities is happening in production department. All right. And some are coming from service department, which is learning outcome 5. All right. So after doing so, we got the total uh, overhead cost, right? So this is your step 1. By the way, total overhead cost is given in your question. Now in step 2, you have to find out whether machine hour involved to produce product or labor hours involved to produce product. If both involved, means we are using people to make this product, but we also using our machines to make this product. That is very common example, more practical example. But nowadays, machine and labor both involved. Traditionally, mostly labor involved, right? So if both involved, then you have to check which one is higher, machine hour higher or labor hours higher. For example, as per your question, machine run 500 hours to produce products, total products, right? And laborers work 300 hours to produce total products, all right? So now, whichever is higher, of course, 500 higher than 300, right? So, which means we use 500 hours to estimate predetermined overhead rates, which is our step 3. So step 3 is predetermined overhead rate. Now the question is, what is predetermined overhead rate? What is POHR? POHR is a rate that helps us to allocate total overhead to the single products. In simple words, with the help of this rate, we estimate that what will be the indirect cost of single product or a particular product, right? So that is rate. So the formula for rate is step 1 divided by step 2, right? Step 1 is 1,000, which is total overheads. And step 2 is machine hours, right? The machine hour is higher. So 1,000 divided by 500. $1,000 divided by 500, which means $2 per machine hour. All right? Which means if this product will run, if machine will run 1 hour, the cost of producing product will be $2. Cost of machine, particularly, right? So the cost will be $2 per machine hour. If machine hour 1, cost will be $2. That's the meaning of step 4. Oh, sorry, step 3. Once we got step 3, then we okay, so we continue with the traditional costing. So I was explaining about, actually I had to stop the video because of some technical issues. It stopped recording the video, so now it's working fine. Okay, now step So step 3, once we identify the uh, predetermined overhead rates, and then uh, we will apply this predetermined overhead rates. For example, in your question, you have two different information is given. One information about product A and B, machine hours information, which means we require 3 and 5 machine hours to produce product A and B. And other information is given about labor hours. In order to produce product A and B, we require 4 and 6 labor hours, right? So now, keep in your mind, if your predetermined overhead rate is on behalf of machine hours, then we will use machine hours to allocate cost. That's what we did exactly here. 3 hours multiplied by 2, 6, and 5 hours multiplied by 2 is 10. All right? But it is in your question, this is labor hours here, then you will apply labor hours to allocate indirect cost. All right? That you have to keep in your mind. That I was trying to explain you before. All right? So that's all about traditional costing method. Now we move on to the second method, which is ABC, stands for activity-based costing. All right? Learning out number 6, which is ABC. ABC stands for activity-based costing. We also call it ABC. We're gonna apply same methods to allocate cost using activity-based costing, but the allocation will be based on activity. For example, when we allocate on behalf of traditional costing, allocation was based on either machine hour or labor hours, whichever is higher. All right. So in traditional costing, base will be machine hour or labor hours. All right. But in activity-based costing, based will be activity. Activity means any kinds of action or events that involve to produce product, but that involvement is indirectly, right? So what does it mean? It means when we are producing product, we do not only machine or labor hours involved. We have some other kinds of activity which may involve indirectly to produce product. For example, produce product means production indirectly, which is overhead. So for example, overhead, ordering cost, number of orders. Not only machine hour or labor hours involved, but number of orders also involved. So number of order is an example of activity. Machine hour, activity. Labor hours, activity. All right. Another examples could be a number of shipments. How many times we have to ship. So number of shipments is also example of activity. So idea is that in activity-based costing, we cover all kinds of action which is involved. But in traditional costing, we cover only 2 kinds of actions, which are machine hour or labor hours. So you have to keep in your mind these things. That's only the difference between traditional costing, which is focused on machine hour, labor hours, and activity-based costing, which based upon any kinds of activity. Anything happen in manufacturing, all right, indirectly in terms of activity, all right? So we have to consider that things. Could be a number of orders, could be a number of shipments, all right? Could be per square meter, how many meter square we are using, because we have to allocate renting a factory on behalf of meter square, right? Um, it could be a machine set up. How many times we have to set up the machine? Because every time we set up a machine, it requires certain time for workers to spend to set up the machine, right? We have to spend money for electricity during the time we are setting up the machine. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? So that 5, 10, or 15 minutes cost is a overheads. So we have to focus on that kind of activity as well, not just machine hour and the labor hour. So in simple words, activity cover everything which involves to produce product, not just a machine hour activity, labor hour activity, unlike traditional costing, right? So we have the same step, 4 steps, right? Step 1 is a cost pool. Cost pool means cost of particular activity, right? Cost of particular activity, it's called cost pool. For example, we have 3 kinds of activity. For example, activity about ordering. Ordering means order. Now it sometimes is
Not stable, right?
yeah, not stable. Yeah,
I check.
yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so for example, ordering is an example of particular activity involved in production. Ordering means how many times we order. For example, we order multiple times and the total ordering cost is 1,000. So this is cost pool. Another example of cost pool is machine. Machining. Machining means how many times we set up machines. And that's example of machining. Machine setup. All right. Setup means leave it machine to get ready. Take it warm up. In simple words, how many hours or how many minutes it take to get ready. All right. So, for example, when teachers start teaching in the classroom, teacher need to turn it on the computer, right, and start taking attendance, right? So turn it on computer and start taking attendance, and then start teaching. So before teaching, teacher has to spend some time in some other kinds of overheads activity. So the cost of that, for example, is machine setup. Same example, cost will be $500. So this is cost pool. So we have to find out the different categories cost. Categories could be ordering, categories could be a machining, categories could be shipping or shipments, right? So cost of shipping, let's say 2,000, right? So these are the example of cost pool. The cost of particular activity or category, total cost of particular activity or particular category, right? Step 2 is a cost driver. Cost driver means any kinds of action or events that increase or decrease that particular cost. In other words, the base of this cost pool. What are the reasons behind this cost pool? Like as ordering, all right? Cost driver of this ordering cost pool is a number of order. Because if number of order increase, ordering cost increase. That's the meaning of any kinds of action or events which increase or decrease the cost. Second one is a machining, machine setup, right? So cost driver for machine setup is a number of setup. And shipping is number of shipments. So it's all about numbers, all right? Like as number of order, right? So let's say we have 10 number of orders, all right? We have 20 number of order, all right? And we have 50 number of shipments. Number of order 10, number of setup 20, number of shipment is 20. So 10 orders, 20 times setup, and 50 times shipments. This is your cost driver. In other words, you can also say that these two also cost driver. Machine hour, labor hour also cost driver. So you can also call it cost driver, which increase or decrease your cost. Of course, if machine hour increase, your cost increase. Machine hour decrease, cost decrease. So that could be a cost driver. It's just also example of cost driver. So I'm writing here cost driver for you to understand what is the meaning of these step 2. Step 2 exactly same like as step 1, also like as a traditional costing. Step 1 also like as traditional costing step 1. Why? Because if you add them all, this is the overhead cost in different categories. If you add them all, that's also become your total overhead, like as traditional costing here. But in traditional costing, we don't care about categories. Why? Because we don't care about activities. In activity-based costing, we go in very detail. All right? We go in detail. So that's why we have a particular categories, and each category also called cost pool. Cost pool means category, cost of particular category. If you add them all, it's become your total overheads, right? So which means in my total overhead, what kind of cost involved? We have to find out when we apply activity-based costing. But when we apply traditional costing, we don't have to find out that in this 1,000, what we have. We don't really care. Means in traditional costing, we do not go in detail, right? But in ABC, we go in very detail, all right? Now, step 3. Step 3 also exactly same like as your traditional costing. Determine POHR, predetermined overhead rates. Formula exactly same, which is step 1 divided by step 2. All right. Cost pool divided by cost driver. Same like as traditional costing. But the difference is in traditional costing. In traditional costing, we have one number and we just have only one information, which is only about machine hours. But in activity-based costing, we have three pools, right? Ordering, machining, shipments. We have three drivers, of course. If three pools, three driver, four pools, four driver, five pools, five drivers. Right? This is not a case that five pool and three drivers. No. Five pool means reason behind five pool, base of five pool. All right. If five pool, five driver, six pool, six driver, one pool, one driver. All right. So if three pool, three driver, which means we have three rates. One rate about ordering, 1000 divided by 10. Second rate, machining, 500 divided by 20. And third rate about shipment, 2000 divided by 50. So means we got three rates. All right. So we got three rates. Three rates means one rate dollar per order. One rate dollar per order, 1000 divided by 10, which means $100 per order. If you order one time, it cost will be $100. Second rate is rate per setup, which is 500 divided by 20, which means 25. It means the cost of one machine setup will be 25. Right? So second one is a dollar per setup. Second rate. And third rate is dollar per shipping or per shipment. Right? Dollar per shipments. Right? So we got three rates. Right? Step 4. Also exactly like as traditional costing, which means apply POHR, which means we have three POHR, which is here. Right? Here means $100. Right? $25. And $40. Right? $40. So $100 per shipment, $25 per machine. Oh, sorry, $100 per order, $25 per setup, and $40 per shipping. This is the rates. Now, your question says, if you produce one product, you will order material 3 times. Your question says, if you produce one product, you set up machine 4 times. And your question says, if you produce one product, you will ship the product 1 time. This information is given in your question, like as this information is given in your question. All right? Okay. I can't see the board. I don't know, maybe it's an internet problem. But anyway, I'm recording this video. So in your recording video, you can see that because we're running out of time. So you can see the recording one. It's all about internet issues, so I can't do it. Okay, so this information 3, 4, and 1 is given in your question. Right? Is it given in your question? So now we got these 3 numbers. 100 multiplied by 3 is 300. 25 multiplied by 4, 100. And 40 multiplied by 1 is 40. So total is 440. This is your overhead cost allocation. So remember, you have to add them all to get the final number. Why? Because this pen is a combination of 3 different activities, right? And the cost of these 3 different activity allocation is 440. Same like as we got this number here, which was for A 6 and for B 10. All right. This is the way to allocating activity-based costing. All right. So that's all. All right. So now the question is, which method is better? Traditional or ABC? Can you tell me which method is better? ABC is better or traditional better? Better means which methods provide most accurate allocation? Which provides more accurate or precise allocation? ABC or traditional? Quickly tell me. ABC is better, that's right. The reason is ABC is much more precise. ABC do not miss any activity. I give you just example of 3 different activities. It could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. If it's 10, activity based calculate on the behalf of 10. Is only behalf of the activity, no matter activities involve only 1 activity or 10 activities. But traditional costing only focus on 2 things, machine hour or labor hours. No matter you have an ordering cost, you have a shipments, you have a number of square feet, traditional doesn't really focus. Traditional, the base of traditional is only machine or labor, right? But base of activity is activity, number of activity, all right? So that's why activity-based costing known as a most accurate method in order to allocate cost. But one problem with activity-based costing is the problem is it's a time-consuming method. All right. Why time-consuming? You can see that we have to record all the kinds of activity. All right. So whoever is involved in recording this activity has to work more. So maybe company pay extra to that person. As a result, company cost will increase. All right. It's just a time-consuming method, and it's, of course, it's not an easy or straightforward method. It's a quite complicated method compared to traditional costing. All right, so that's why activity-based costing method is applied by large companies. All right, why large companies? Because large company has more activities. Small company has a less activity. So remember, you have a more department, more activities, and depends upon the process of producing product. If producing product process is very complicated, you're going to have a much more activities. If the product manufacturing or process is quite straightforward and simple, you have less activities. All right. So mainly large product, big product, large companies apply activity-based costing. Small or medium companies, they apply traditional costing. But of course, not all small and medium, it depends. But majority of small companies, they apply traditional based costing. Why? Because it's easy to apply, it's less time consuming, and of course, it's less cost effective. I mean, of course, it's a cost effective for the small companies to apply traditional costing because they may not afford, they cannot afford the cost of the accountant to produce the product, right? So that's the ideas behind activity-based costing and traditional costing. So now I show you uh, the calculations. The calculation you have to do it at home, your homework. And in your homework, try to allocate your uh, allocate traditional costing and activity-based costing, right? So this calculation, this activity, I already send you when I send you topic 4. So topic 4, you have a PPT file and you have a Word documents. Word documents is your activity, your practice, your homework. All right. So make sure you open. I believe you have, right? If you don't have, so make sure you check your learning management system. I uploaded over there. All right. So let me open for you. Okay. Can you see that? Can you see this document? Say something, yes or no? Okay. Okay. So so you can see there is a question. You have some basic informations. So this information about your cost driver. No, that's not a cost driver. That is your cost pool. Sorry, it's information for here. Yep. Let me adjust it a little bit. Okay. So this is your cost pool. All right. Purchasing, machine handling, machine maintenance, product inspection, packaging. That's your cost pool. You can see that many activity involved. All right. And this is your total overheads. All right. This is your total overheads. And you can see that purchase order, material move, machine hours, inspection, unit produced. So these are your numbers. So which means cost pool, purchasing, purchase order are cost driver. Material handling, cost pool, material move, cost driver. Machine maintenance, cost pool, machine hours, cost drivers. Product inspection, cost pool, inspection, hours. So keep in your mind, these items are your cost pool, and whatever information given in front of that one, that is your cost driver. So cost pool, cost driver. So this is your total overheads, all right? So you have a two products, job 215, job 325, all right? Is like as product A and product B, right? So if you apply if you apply traditional costing method. In traditional costing method, step 1 is total overheads. All right. Step 2 is find machine hour or labor hour, or whichever is higher. We do not have any information about labor hours, so we have only machine hour, which is 10,500. All right, which is 10,500. Step 3. Step 3 is total overhead divided by machine hour. So we got predetermined overhead rate per machine hours. Step 4, apply predetermined overheads rates. How you apply? Rate multiply by machine hours. So you have to multiply by only 40 and 60. All right, 40 and 60. So you got allocation for job 215 and allocation for job 325. Your traditional finish. Activity-based costing. Step 1, cost pool 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cost pool. Step 2, if 5 cost pool of okay. Oh, let me show you again. So step 1, ABC is cost pool. Step 2 is cost driver. Step 3 is POHR. Of course, if 5 pool, 5 driver, you have a 5 POHR, right? And step 4 is apply POHR. How you gonna apply? Whatever number you got in, like as 70,000 multiplied by 2,000, which is $35 per order. So multiply by this, 35 multiplied by this, 35 multiplied by 8, and you got number. Same thing for this, same thing for this, this, and this. And once you got it, you add them all. I mean allocation, not these. Allocation on behalf of this, you add them all, like as what I did on the board, right? You add them all, that is your total answer, final answer. And same thing here, allocation based upon this, you add them all, and then you got a answer. All right. So that's all about uh, your calculation for traditional and AB. So this activity, that Word document, I hope you have this document, right? Can you tell me, did you download before? Do you have this file, right? Say something. Do you have this file? Yes, you have. Okay. So please do this activity. This traditional and activity-based costing is your homework, and do that. It's very important. All right. So next week we will discuss this activity in our Zoom session. All right. And next week, we will also talk about your assignments, all right? For next week, you don't have to watch topic 5 video, because next week we will practice this traditional costing and activity-based costing, your homework, and then we move on to learning outcome 7, which is very short, but of course is important. And next week, we will also discuss about your assignments that I will give you maybe 2 weeks later. All right. So that's all about this meeting. All right. So do you have any question? Anybody has any question? Say something. Any question? Yes or no? Quickly say something. Any question? If no questions, then we stop here. Do we have to submit? Uh, do we have to submit exercise for? Yes, please. You have to submit exercise to me. Right? You have to submit. Everybody, keep in your mind, you all have to submit your exercise to me. All right? Through your learning management system. All right? So you send it to me through LMS. Not, don't send me through emails. All right? Please send me through your learning management system. Understand? Yes or no? Quickly say something. Deadline for homework is just one day before. All right? So next week we have a Zoom session on Friday. So you send me on Thursday. All right? Thursday night. Do not send me after Thursday. So before Friday morning. All right? I repeat, your deadline is Thursday. Your deadline is next week, Thursday, because next week, Friday, we have a meeting, right? Like as today is a Friday. So next week, Friday, you have a meeting, Zoom meeting. So next week, Thursday, before Friday, right? No, don't send me email. Please send me through learning management system, no email. You can send me email if you have any question, but do not submit your homework via email. Submit your homework via learning management system. All right? Yes, that's what I said. You have to submit through your learning management system. Yes. All right? Understand? Or I repeat again? Quickly say something. Please send me email if you have any question because now we finish. All right? So please send me a question. Send me email. All right? So I'll see you next week. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.